Oh, yeah, right. We can't get rid of the blue laws because you don't want to have to deal with the competition of all those other stores opening up on Sunday morning, so you make up a lot of nonsense about, oh, it's the Lord's Day. It's not my Lord's Day. Has no significance to me whatsoever. But yeah, I got to abide by your rules because we're a Christians. Oh, shut up! Jeez. I'm so fed up with the mentality in this town. By the way, how are you? Jim Walsh here at Super Talk 1270, online at supertalk1270.com. North Dakota is the last state in the nation. I don't know that we're the last state. We're among them, certainly. We're well behind the curve. North Dakota, the last state in the nation with the blue laws preventing some stores from opening before noon on Sundays. I don't think that's correct. I think there's still a couple of counties in Mississippi where they do this. Mississippi, they got some weird blue laws there, or they had. I lived there in the 80s for a while, and they had some weird stuff going on from county to county. There are counties in Mississippi where you couldn't buy butter between 7 and 9:30 on a Sunday morning. What is the mentality behind that? I don't know. But anyway, they've been talking about the blue law thing all week in the Capitol, talking about repealing the law. They keep talking about rolling back this stupid, pointless law, and they never do. They always come up with some stupid reason not to, or certain individuals come up with these reasons for not voting in favor of rolling it back. The bill passed the House floor a few weeks ago. More recently, the Senate Political Subdivisions Committee with passionate testimony. No, there's passionate testimony on one side and stupid babbling on the other. Now, there are people who are in favor of rolling back the law because it makes more money. That's fine. But I'll just talk about a moral society, a Christian society. Shut up. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to force you to open your business on Sunday morning if you don't want to. And something else, if you work for a business where they want to make you work on Sunday mornings and you don't want to do that, there are options available to you. The most obvious would be to get a different damn job. Anyway, Representative Jeff, number, by the way, here is 663-1270. You want to weigh in on this. Representative Jeff Hoverson of Minot says the law is focusing on making more money. Well, that's true, and there's nothing wrong with that, although he thinks it's something that's been bad for the state for the last 15 years. Yeah, people working, people having challenging jobs. That's a bad thing. That's not the North Dakota way. Listen to this quote here. It brought drug dealing, crime went up, human trafficking. Oh, there we go, the human trafficking again. All of a sudden, we're talking about these things. We never used to talk about human trafficking. It was a low-crime state. Why? Because we had a moral society. Because the government was small and because it depended on the church. Well, fiddle-dee-damn-do. I love these Bible thumpers. You know, this used to be a moral society when everybody abided by the church. But not just any church. The one true church. Yes. Yeah. Oh, we can't change that now, can we? Yeah. All the things wrong with our society are because of people being allowed to work, because of business coming into the state. Yeah, let's go back to the way it used to be when everybody lived off the land and nobody had enough food for the winter. Boy, those were the good times, right, buddy? Yes, sir. Now, there are those who are talking sense on this issue. Some businesses on the North Dakota side of the river need to compete with those in neighboring states. A group called North Dakota open on Sundays. Again, he's right about that, but the point is not, to me, is not economics. The point is separation of church and state, and basically the right to do with your business as you see fit. I mean, who are you really hurting by opening up on Sunday morning? Nobody. And if you don't want to do it, if you want to be like one of these stupid Chick-fil-A places and close on Sundays because it's the Lord's Day, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. I couldn't care less. But don't force me to abide by your rules just because you don't like the idea of, well, if I close on Sunday morning, some other store is going to open and they're going to get to business. Therefore, we got to make sure they're closed. That's the bottom line here, isn't it? That's the real story. Anyway, bill up for hearing. It was up for hearing yesterday. It would repeal North Dakota's so-called blue law, which essentially bans Sunday morning retail shopping. Now, some Bismarck and Mandan business owners say they will likely not expand their Sunday hours, pointing to the workforce and time for rest. You know what? Nobody's going to force you to do that. Nobody's going to step in and say, okay, you're allowed to open now on Sundays, which means you have to open, and we don't care what you think about it with your faith and all this, that, and the other, and your need to have a day of rest, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Nobody is going to do that. Nobody is going to step in and force you to open your business if you don't want to. And if some other business wants to open up on Sunday morning and they're going to get some of the business that you would have gotten if you opened up, but you didn't open up because you didn't believe in it, so where's the problem? Again, it's one thing to say, well, Sunday's my day, a day of rest. I am not going to open up because I think I want to stay home, and the people who work for me want to stay home. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. And there are economic factors as well. But no, don't give me this malarkey about how you're protecting the morals of North Dakota. That is ridiculous. Seriously, where do we get some of these people? Where do we get people like Ole Larson and Jeff Hoverson? Human trafficking. Oh, yeah, and I love when they bring up human trafficking. Yeah, human trafficking is such a crisis. They're trying so hard to make a big crisis out of human trafficking, and they're just not pulling it off. Why? Because it's not a big crisis. Because it's a case of the government, people in the government, looking for a reason to justify their jobs, to find something to get the people all worked up about, so they'll rally behind their great and glorious government, except there's really nothing to it. Nothing at all. 663-1270. So the blue law thing, opposition to rolling back the blue laws, it's a crock. Yeah, don't give me this crap about wearing a Christian. Look, I'm not a Christian. Why should I abide by your laws? Why? Because if we don't, then we're going to be a less moral society. Well, the only thing I can say to that is, yeah, it don't wash, Jason. It doesn't wash. 663-1270. Jim Walsh here on Super Talk 1270. Online, supertalk1270.com. More conversation and your calls coming up. It never ceases to amaze me when they're debating the blue law bill. The rationale that some people have behind keeping it as it is, going back to our friend Mr. Hoverson here, Representative Jeff Hoverson of Minot, who thinks that it's a matter of the moral foundation of our society that we keep people from working on Sunday morning. Church attendance will drop. And there goes your morality. This guy actually said that. We actually live in a state where people like this, they not only don't get laughed out of the state, but they actually get elected to make our laws for us. Now, as far as the labor issue, Yeah, some businesses on the North Dakota side of Red River need to come in there and stay down. And I think it's a big deal on most people around here, but it is important if you live in Fargo, I guess. And, of course, this week they've been talking about all the old familiar issues, church attendance. All right, here's the thing. If you need to force people to not work in order to keep up the attendance at your church, whose fault is that? And why should we go in cahoots with the government? People are not attending church like they used to. Well, that's a terrible thing. We better make sure that they don't have to work on Sundays so they'll attend church. Hey, I got news for you. I don't work or attend church on Sundays, and my morality is just fine, thank you very much. Thank you. Number here is 663-1270. Anyway, comments about spending time with family, more revenue for business and state, all of which are good things, but you don't have to force people not to open on Sunday mornings to get all the benefits of all these things. And as far as Mr. Hoverson's comment, I'm just going to leave that where it belongs. Church attendance will drop, and there goes your... Yeah, it's all the fault of those terrible people, those heathen atheistic types, them secular humanists who want you to have the right to open your business on Sunday morning because you don't share the proper Christian values of people like Jeff Hoverson. Right. Thank you. I am so fed up with this whole mentality. Another write-up from the Trib. They found a fellow who runs a local Christian bookstore. Well, fine. He likes having off on Sunday mornings. Okay, good, fine. Then stay home. Close your business. Chick-fil-A, they don't open on Sundays for religious reasons. Doesn't seem to hurt their business. Last I heard, now I'm not a Chick-fil-A fan, but last I heard they weren't running to the government to tell people, you got to make these stores not open so people will go to church. When you put it in those words, doesn't it sound pretty ridiculous that we live in a society, we're talking about colonizing Mars a few years down the road, yet we got a bunch of people running around loose, making our laws who are saying that we have to actually protect the churches from people who want to do other things other than go to church on Sunday mornings. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that mentality. Yeah, some people say, I really like people to zero in with their families and have that time with their families and with their God on Sunday morning. Well, fine. Just leave me out of it. Just leave me out of it. Shannon Jones introduced House Bill 1097 in January, passed the House, and of course they've tried to pass it before. The governor, good for him, has voiced support for the bill. He gets it. Some Bismarck and Mandan business owners say they will not expand their Sunday hours. You know what? I don't think you should have to, and you won't have to. You want to stay home, you want to sleep in, you want to go to church, you want to play golf, you want to worship in your backyard in front of a pile of burning gazelle bones. You do whatever you want. You just leave me out of it. Corporate entities' upper management would determine Sunday hours if the bill passes. Target would likely expand its hours. Anything here about Walmart? I would imagine, Walmart is pretty much open 24/7 everywhere else on the planet. So I imagine they would. Yeah, Walmart, those heathens who run Walmart, right? Yeah, they're just such terrible people. They want to open their store on the Lord's Day. They want to tell people, okay, you want to work? We're going to put you on schedule for Sunday morning. I don't want to work Sunday morning. Well, find another job. Okay. In a sensible world, people would hear that, they'd say, well, okay, I will. The bill is not a mandate to open. I can't believe we actually have to put it in those terms. And yes, the law's been chipped away for a number of years as various businesses and items became exempt from prohibition. I just think it's a sad joke and a sad comment on our society that we still live in a society where people not only think this way, but they also have the say in the way the rest of us live. It's amazing. John Lindgren, former mayor of Fargo, a guy I like a lot. He was also a former professor of economics, NDSU, and a genuine freethinker, a genuine defender of a secular society. He publishes a column. It runs once or twice a week in the Fargo Forum. Fargo Forum, nearest thing we have in this state to a real newspaper. And he wrote about or republished an article about an archbishop. This is just from last day or so. An archbishop who's now saying that remarried couples must abstain from sex. The Archbishop of Philadelphia. Now, we're not talking Philadelphia, Mississippi here. We're talking the city of brotherly love. One of the top 10 cities in the country, population. It used to be number 4, now it's down to like number 7 or 8, I think. But the Archbishop of Philadelphia, who by some standards some people would call a liberal, he has expressed his policy that gay people can live together as long as it's no sex. Oh, okay, it's that bugaboo thing. You can live together, you can benefit from loving each other, you just can't enjoy it. That's the Catholic way. That's why I'm not a Catholic anymore. Well, there's a lot of reasons why I'm not a Catholic anymore. And for this he is called a liberal. There are people who say he's too tolerant. Anyway, this same archbishop has extended that reasoning to heterosexual couples marrying new partners after a divorce. He now says, yeah, you can do that too. You just can't be married. Well, no. He says you can be married. You can live together. You just can't have any sex. Because we don't recognize your divorce. Amazing. It's like, who was it who said, Lily Tomlin, she said, no matter how cynical I get about society, I just can't keep up. God. Oh, boy. Okay, enough of that. Let's see. This is funny. Super elite homosexuals are now recruiting extraterrestrials into their ungodly lifestyle. This is from a newsletter called Hard Dawn. A lot of the usual stuff about degenerate culture, radical atheism, the lies of big science, the homosexual agenda, the marijuana medicine, and all those terrible things they're saying about our wonderful, glorious leader. Everybody genuflect when I say it, Donald Trump. Because mourning in America won't be easy. This has got to be, please, God, tell me this is a parody publication, because it is absolutely hilarious. I would hate to think that it's not intentional and just destroy all my faith in humanity. But yeah, super elite homosexuals, not just any homosexuals, mind you, super elite homosexuals are now recruiting extraterrestrials into their ungodly lifestyle. Yes. Aliens? No, we have Galians. They're coming to Earth. Why? To redecorate. No! Wouldn't it be funny? The saucer comes down like a day the Earth stood still, and these aliens get out and they look like the village people. Oh, God, that would be so funny. That would be hilarious. All right, coming up here. Talk about the women's soccer team players. They want equal pay with the men. Well, good for them if they can get it, I guess. And the Captain Marvel movie opening this weekend. There's a controversy Although it's not really a controversy. They're trying to make it into a controversy. And we'll talk about that in just a bit here at Super Talk 1270, supertalk1270.com. More conversation and your calls coming up.
Right now, 17 degrees.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. supertalk1270.com.
The motherships have landed. The aliens are coming. Oh my God, they're all gay. Oh no. Oh no.
Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hand on your hips, give them a push. You'll be surprised you're doing the French mistake.
With their little feelers just bouncing around. Isn't that adorable? All the way to Uranus. I mean, never mind.
Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hand on your hips,
Ooh,
give them a
beep,
push.
beep.
You'll be surprised you're doing the French mistake. Voila!
All right, Jim Walsh here at Super Talk 1270. Online streaming, doing that streaming thing at supertalk1270.com. U.S. women's soccer team players sue for equal pay with men. Well, if they can get it, good luck. I mean, that'd be great. Thing is, and I don't know, maybe there is a market for women's soccer players. And if there is, and if they can organize, and if they can get the kind of pay they want, more power to them. I just wonder if the market will support it. For happy International Women's Day, players are seeking equal pay and treatment in addition to damages, including back pay. The complaint was filed on International Women's Day. The players for the U.S. women's national soccer team have filed a federal gender discrimination lawsuit. Well, part of the problem is soccer is really not that much of a thing in this country. Not yet, anyway. It's getting there. It's getting better. That's actually one of the things that the anti-immigration people are so upset about. There's all these immigrants coming to the country with their soccer. Going to take away our football. Yeah, people lining up and bashing their heads against one another and cracking their skulls. Yeah, that's an American sport for you right there. Dang yeah, buddy. Anyway, so the women's soccer team is trying to get equal pay for equal work. Well, they can get it. Now, great. I just don't know that I could be wrong. If I am, fine. Market could justify it. Always looking at the market, Jim. Yes, I am. Yes, that's the way the world works. You don't have to like it, but that is the way the world works. So if they can get it, more power to them. If somebody asks me if they should get it, I say, yeah, I'm all for it. I just wonder if it's realistic economically, if it's a viable business thing for them to make that kind of money. I don't know. It could be. It could be. I hope it is, sincerely. 663-1270. I'm a supporter of soccer. I'm not a big fan of soccer, but I'm all in favor. I'm all in favor of anything that diverts attention from football, which is such a stupid game. A bunch of smash faces. Yes, smash faces we call it. Football is American football basically is rugby without the finesse and a lot less mud. Bunch of guys lining up and cracking their skulls against one another. Yeah, that's what we need to encourage our kids to do. Not soccer, not kicking around a football, not showing finesse. Not showing a poise and strategy. No, we want to line them up and beat their heads against one another. That's the all-American way, right? Boy, what a week. Now, speaking of sports, I will say, and it is a sad thing, a couple of things have come out this week about well, there's the Alex Trebek thing. He's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And that is genuinely a sad thing. But a couple other things came out. Tom Seaver has dementia. I'm not sure what it is. Alzheimer's, something like that. But apparently his time in this world is not long. And who else was it? There was another. Dan Jenkins passed away yesterday, the sports writer. Most famous for his work at Sports Illustrated. He was also a columnist for Golf Digest and Playboy. He wrote books like Semi-Tough, in Baja, Oklahoma, dead solid, perfect. He was a golfer at TCU, began writing, working at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. His daughter is a columnist at the Washington Post. Dan Jenkins passed away yesterday at the age of 89. A lot of the old greats are falling by the wayside, sad to say. Him and Tom Seaver with dementia. The Alex Trebek thing, well, Alex is not a sports person, but it's damn sad. I give him credit. You know, I met Alex Trebek one time. I was working in Atlantic City. They sent me over to, I think it was the Trump Taj. They sent me over there for some promotional thing they were doing. They were filming a Jeopardy episode in Atlantic City, and Alex, because he was the host, he was actually there. This is in the early 90s. I'll put that picture up on the website. It's kind of a cool picture. Me with my late 80s, early 90s blown back hairdo, and Alex with his little mustache. So adorable. And me looking dorky as ever, with an expression on my face like, who am I? Why am I here? Anyway, but our best to family and friends of Alex Trebek. I mean, he's still around, but God, stage 4, isn't that? I'm just going to say it. Isn't stage 4 pretty much a death sentence? I know it sounds horrible, but. And you think of all the people who you wish would die in this society. He's not even anywhere near the top of the list. You know, believe me, I can think of at least 100 people, rattle 100 people right off the top of my head who I'd rather see die in the next 3 to 6 months than Alex Trebek. He ain't on the list. And I'm sorry to see that happen, but life is not fair. Life is not fair, especially when you get older. You know, I lost my father a couple of months ago. It happened. He was a great guy. And I've been dealing with that. But people die. You know that. And sometimes the wrong people die at the wrong time. Sometimes the wrong people don't die at the wrong time. Maybe I should save that, though, for another day. Number here. Start a Deadpool. Who do you think should die? There you go. 663-1270. No, I don't want to do that because you know what's going to happen? If I actually did that, you know what would happen? We'd have all the coots sitting around at home in their underwear calling in, I think Obama should die because he's this, that, and the other. Yeah. I think Trump should live forever. Yeah, good for you, pal. Go back in your room, lock the door, just sit down there with all your maps and your medals and your Metamucil and your depression medication, and just do not bother us. just got to drift off in your own little world there. Thank you. You see, that's the hard thing about doing this kind of radio anymore is that no matter what you do, you always got these nut jobs who want to call up and make it into some stupid right-wing political thing. That happened a few years ago when I went to Fargo. I actually did some fill-in work at not KFGO, although I'd love to do some work there. Joel, if you're listening, I'm ready, bud, anytime to kick in and fill in. I like the station. I like the town. I like the people. I like Joel Heitkamp, and I'd be happy to work for him. But no, this was the other station. What was it? WDAY, right? The one that's tied in with the paper. And I did a fill in there, and you know, it's one of these stations where everything is about Obama and Trump and those liberals and those Democrats on that Hillary, blah, 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 blah. And no matter what you want to talk about, you know, pick any subject out of thin air. Dog food, you know. You want to talk about, let's talk about this dog food thing. And people just want to call up and turn it into a thing where it's all Obama's fault. Whatever's wrong with the dog food, they blame Obama because he's black. Well, they don't say that, but they're thinking that. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, all those guys with the magic R's next to their name, they're never at fault for anything. All right. But I don't like to do that kind of radio. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm not in the big time. That's why I'm here. Because I like doing this kind of radio. I like talking about real stuff, you know. I like not taking every single subject on the face of the earth and turning into some stupid, narrow political thing. You know what? Clinton and Obama and Trump, you know, they're only a small part of your daily life. And who happens to be sitting in the Oval Office at any given time, unless they manage to really screw up and get us all nuked to kingdom come, the fact is, whoever happens to be sitting there, whatever warm body happens to be filling out that seat, is going to have 0.0000 -1 effect on your life on any given day. So let's get on with it. Trump free for the entire hour. You're welcome. Right. Oh, we got to talk about, there's an update on the Momo challenge. You know, the creepy bird lady, the Momo lady. Turns out she's dead and she can't hurt anybody. No, really. That's a thing. That's a real story. And we're going to get to that. May touch upon the latest debate regarding daylight saving time. You know, we spring forward this weekend. Some comments on R. Kelly and Captain Marvel, the movie with the super lady Marvel person. Looks pretty good. It's going to be showing this weekend. Well, I'll talk about that in the remaining minutes here. And your calls will be welcome at, wait a minute, let's try this again here. 663-1270. And your comments welcome online as well at supertalk1270.com. Are we good? All right, let's try it here. Let's see if we can make this work. I need more coffee. I think that's my answer to everything is more caffeine. Much more caffeine. I need some of that thermonuclear extra caffeinated coffee they've been talking about on the internet. Go get some of that stuff. I'll be right back.
Right now, 19.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
Somebody asked me about this. This is the Thieving Magpie, known, among other things, for its use in the soundtrack of Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange movie, based on the classic Anthony Burgess novel about a future dystopia where teenagers run rampant, raping people and listening to Beethoven. I know it's a weird book. It's definitely worth seeing it. And I just noticed that the movie Clockwork Orange is getting another limited run on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you can actually watch or rewatch Clockwork Orange. I saw Clockwork Orange. The first time I ever saw the movie, the full movie, it was at a drive-in. I was in high school. I was at the drive-in theater in my hometown. I was by myself because I was kind of a movie nerd and I just wanted to see the movie. It was on a double bill. Get this. It was a double bill with the Rolling Stones movie, Gimme Shelter, and Clockwork Orange. Now, if you've seen those two movies, you know, you'll probably agree with what I'm about to say. That is a great pairing up. That is one bodacious double feature. It's fantastic. Great experience. It was just me on a chilly, rainy evening in February or March of that year. And I saw the Stones movie, Gimme Shelter, about Altamont, the Altamont concert, and Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick's take on the classic novel. It was great. Anyway, speaking of movies, Captain Marvel this weekend. Now, I'm an old guy, and I actually remember there's some confusion apparently about Captain Marvel. No, this is the Marvel Comics version of Captain Marvel. Actually, there have been several Captain Marvels, but the two I want to focus on, there was the first one in Marvel. He was a member of an alien society called the Kree. They came to Earth basically to study Earth and decide whether they should destroy the Earth or let it exist. And Captain Marvel was kind of part of the lead, the shock troops there who were there to find out about Earth. And he actually became sympathetic with Earth and decided that he wanted to help them. And he wanted to not destroy them, which is a very a very charitable thing to want to do. And eventually I think he died. The character died and was replaced by not his girlfriend, but a female friend, this pilot named Carol Danvers, who somehow, by some kind of weird, freaky accident, She was exposed to some kind of radiation, and she became Captain Marvel. Now, what's interesting about Captain Marvel is that she is reportedly the most powerful super being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or she will be. And she is going to have a part in the Avengers sequel, which is coming up next month, the end of next month, where if you saw the one last summer, I did, my wife, and we were just sitting there kind of like our jaws were scraping the floor at the end of that movie, like, well, he actually did it. He snapped his the guy snapped his fingers, and half the population of the world died, just like that. They whiffed into dust. But right before he whiffed into dust, of course, Nick Fury and his sidekick, the girl from How I Met Your Mother, they send out a signal. It turns out to be it was an emergency signal to Captain Marvel. Now, where was Captain Marvel all along? That's what I want to know. Only for dire emergencies. Well, I don't know. Things have been pretty dire up to now, Marv. But you're just now, okay, now you're going to show up. Okay, fine. Still. My wife and I are going to the private screening at one of the local theaters tonight, and we'll see how that goes. It may be a lot of fun. It may be. Hey, we're looking forward to the movie. We're just wondering what kind of stuff they're going to have to go with the movie. Apparently, they're going to do giveaways and have people talking about the movie and whatnot. Well, that's fine. Anyway, that's all. Looking forward to that. And if it goes well, we'll probably sign up. They're going to have a private screening for the Avengers movie, which is coming out the end of next month. They're going to have a private screening for that one. If this one goes well tonight, we'll probably go to that one as well. And if it doesn't, then we'll just go see the movie and forget about it. Anyway, so we have that to look forward to this weekend. Now, there is a controversy about this movie. You know, you got people in the society who just can't get up in the morning without something to get all worked up and angry about. And one of the latest things regarding this movie, the actress in the movie, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson is her name. Apparently she made some comment about how white males are overrepresented in Hollywood, which, if anything, I think she's kind of got a point. She said basically women and people of color are still underrepresented in Hollywood. You know, for every Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel type movie, you've got 10 movies with a guy, and he's a white guy, and he's doing all kinds of macho white guy stuff, and then there's too much of that. She's probably got a point. But people are trying to make a big deal of it. They're trying to say she's a man basher and she hates men and all that. That is ridiculous. You know, like somebody can't have an opinion in this society unless it's the proper opinion. Yes, you conservatives, I'm talking to you too. You're not off the hook on this. Hey, you're talking about the liberals. Yeah, I'm talking about you too, pal. You too with your opinions. You know. When people say, what? They say there's too much religion in society. Well, not only are they wrong, they should be silenced. Yeah. And you say you're against political correctness. Conservative, heal thyself. But anyway, Brie Larson said apparently words to this effect that white males are overrepresented in Hollywood. She'd like to see more movies with other people, other demographics, other groups. And if anything, I think the lady's kind of got a point. You know? I don't have a problem with anything she said. And even if I did, you know, people are entitled to have their opinions. She's just an actor in a movie playing a part. Whatever her opinions are in real life. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Don't bother me none. Facebook announces plans to block anti-vaccination content. I couldn't be happier. About that. That's one of my pet causes, is socking it to these anti-vax idiots. A couple of days ago, there was a story about a young man, a teenager, and he defied his parents. His parents did not want him to have any of the vaccinations, but he went and got them anyway, and then he was called to testify about it before Congress. And I remember thinking, well, good for him and good for anybody who puts these anti-vax idiots in their place. The anti-vaxxers have a lot to answer for. Like another outbreak of measles. Did you know that measles is becoming an epidemic in this country again? Measles, which we had supposedly all but wiped out a couple of decades ago. Smallpox, at one point, smallpox had been eradicated from the face of the earth, or as close to it as it can possibly be. But now it's back. And do you know why it's back? It's because you have idiots who choose to believe all of the discredited nonsense about how there's some connection between getting a vaccination and getting autism if you're a child. It's ridiculous. It's based on a research by one guy. It was bad research. It was not proper scientifically conducted. It was very quickly discredited. And yet people still choose to believe it. What the hell's the matter with you people anyway? First thing I do every year when the fall comes, I get my flu shot. I don't want to get the flu. And the problem is, if enough people don't get their shots, then you have a phenomenon called, basically, it's a communal immunity. And what you need to know is this. If enough people don't get vaccinated, then even the people who do are more likely to get it than they would have been otherwise. You know, vaccinations are never 100%. Nothing in life is. But the fact is, if enough people stop getting their vaccinations, then even the people who are conscientious enough to do so, they're going to be more subject to getting it anyway. Like I say, the Jenny McCarthy's of this world have a lot to answer for. Lucky for them, I'm out of time, so we'll just have to do it again some other time and place. Right here, Supertalk 1270. Online, supertalk1270.com. Thanks for listening.
Supertalk 1270 KLXX Mandan, Bismarck.